Stupid dog. So stupid. So dog.
If you've been watching the channel for a while, you might recognize this truck. This truck belonged to my friend Jordan. He bought it in Utah, where he currently lives, and drove it up here to work with me for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, it kind of sort of exploded on the way here, and we ended up towing this thing home behind the ramp truck on the car trailer.
Merry Sketchmas, everybody. Comes earlier and earlier every year.
We saw Jordan in that road trip video and also in Dart Sport videos as he helped me get that car together finally. Unfortunately, he got a big boy job back at home in Utah and he hasn't been able to come back to rescue this truck or help us with any other videos. Jordan started filming a Dead Dodge Garage video removing the engine from this truck. Unfortunately, we had actual work to do and he never got to finish that. So here it sits. Right now, I'm going to hand over the floor to him and we'll get the progress on this truck to this point. And I'll see you in a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Jordan with Dead Dodge Garage, and this is my '79 Power Wagon W200. I actually got this truck about 2-3 months ago. This truck lived its previous life as a farm truck. You know, I drove this truck around for probably a few hundred miles, up and down canyons, and all around the city. Never had any issues with it until I made the trip out here. If you've seen the rescue video, you will know I only made it maybe 100 miles outside of Salt Lake City before it decided to put all the oil everywhere besides where it should be. So today I'm going to be doing a full teardown to figure out exactly what happened. We do have some guesses, but we're gonna find out. So first thing I'm gonna do here is drain the coolant. I would drain the oil, but it already did that on its own. Well, piece of advice, don't pull too hard on these. Well, these valve covers are absolutely glued to the block, so hammer time. Oh, that was much easier than I thought it would be. Well, that goes over there with that stuff. Okay, got all the accessories taken off, got the radiator out. Probably a good idea to cap those transmission cooler lines so you don't make a little mess everywhere. This one actually has one stud on this side, so you don't have to worry about the coolant coming out of there. But this side has a bolt, so that will drain coolant. I could pop the block drains and drain it, but I don't know if I can get to that. Cool surprise, these actually have upgraded springs with dampers, brand new valves. All the push rods have been cleaned as well. They are factory, except for that one. So be careful when just throwing your parts around, because I broke my already cut up shroud. It's fine. It's no good anyway. I'll get a new one. All right, so I did pop the block drain, which is right there. As you can see, that little hole right behind the engine mount, and it was very tight. I just hope I can find it now, because it started to shower me and I lost it. All right, well, now that it's all dark and cold out here, I'm gonna call it a night, come back to this tomorrow. So headers are loose, bolts are all out. Only thing I have left are torque converter, bell housing, engine mounts, starter. Then I should be good.
Suddenly it's the future again, and everything under the hood of the 79 is exactly the same. So today I'm going to make it my mission to get this thing pulled out, and then in a future Engine Wednesday video, we're going to dissect this thing and do kind of an autopsy. We'll figure out what exactly happened with it and see if it's fixable.
You know, this is like the third time I've taken a truck apart right here. This is the third time I've taken a Power Wagon apart right here. I hate it. Anyway, basically, all that's left to do is the really obnoxious underneath stuff. The starter needs to come out, which is going to be tricky with this header situation. I might have to take that flange apart. This truck still has the bell housing braces. Those are always gone. Then I need to get the engine mount nuts. Those are 3/4 inch. I didn't bring a big ratchet handle to break those free with. Give it a minute and we'll have half the toolbox out here. If you know tin grill trucks, then you know floor rust is universal, and this thing had some. Somebody cut it all out and then dropped in some patches. Looks nice enough. One engine mount. Should have brought a mag tray. Should probably just get some cardboard, because this is terrible. This engine frame is bent. Oh. And I'm just straight up not having a good time. 2 engine mount nuts. Why is there an extra washer? Starter, I guess. Everything's so greasy. Teeth are full of sand. Why couldn't he done all the dumb parts first? Crappy header gaskets. Don't use those. Hardware from previous projects. I feel like a lot of my videos lately have been like lessons in what not to do. Don't do this. At least not in gravel. Okay. I'm gonna turn the camera off and say some bad words. We'll pick this back up in a little while when I've made some progress. Driver's side header is down so I can access the starter and the starter wires. And all it took was breaking all 3 flange bolts. Got the starter coming down. 3/8 shorty flexi mini snap-on ratchet wins the day again. Power Wagon pro tip. If you lack the tools to unhook the wiring, just swing the starter over the front axle and precariously balance it there out of your way. Why didn't I bring like a towel or something? Anyway, the horribly greasy bell housing guard is down now. It's a bit of a dance with the cooling lines in the way and this stud stuck in the bell housing, but a bit of an angle and a mild bend, it does come down. Now I've got to get these flex plate to torque converter bolts. I think those are 9/16. Going back to that whole starter thing, remember to balance it precariously in such a way that it can try to fall on your head. That's part of the experience. Anyway, torque converter is unbolted. Now you can do this by turning the crank at the front using the 1¼ harmonic balancer bolt. I usually don't do that. I just crawl under here with my 9/16 wrench and I actually turn it using these bolt heads. For some reason, in a bit of foreshadowing, this engine is slightly hard to turn, and so that almost didn't work, but I did get them. Now the torque converter is loose, I did push it rearward. Now it's time to undo the bell housing bolts. 2 of these have 5/8 hex heads and they come in from the block side into the transmission. I've got one of them removed now, the one above where the starter was, which is nice and easy. On the passenger side though, there's an oil filter in the way. Now the good news here is there is almost certainly no oil left in it, but it still might make a mess. This has to be unscrewed to get this bolt backed out. Now if you're working on an A body and you've got a 90-degree oil filter adapter here, you don't have to touch the filter at all. But on just about everything else you do. Not a drop, guy. Not a drop. All right. I'm not saying I'm as grimy as a coal miner right now, but I sure feel like one. This is gross, dude. Oh yeah, notice I'm actually able to get my arm up here because there's no front drive shaft. Jordan removed that on his way down because of a horrible vibration. He was cruising on the highway locked in 4-wheel high with no front drive shaft, which is technically a bad idea, but I don't know, it works. With the 2 bolts from this way out, we've got bolts with 9/16 hex heads coming from the transmission threading into the block. In an automatic application, there are 4. If it were stick shift, there would be 5 because there's an extra one in the middle at the top. I've gotten 2 of them from under here, barely. The firewall's kind of in the way. I think at this point everything I can get from underneath is done, so I'm going to crawl out of this hole, throw a bunch of tools out there, pop the hood, go up, loosen those last 2, and then out it comes.
Ready to rock and roll play. Somebody out there is wondering, Jamie, why didn't you remove the hood? Brother, I never remove the hood. Get on my level. Someone else is typing a comment right now explaining that they don't trust an aluminum manifold to hold the weight of the engine. Well, I'll tell you what, I've done complete dressed RB iron-headed big block 727 drivetrain installs with a plate on an aluminum manifold. It's gonna be fine. Oop, gotta go forward. Yeah, that's easier said than done. Sure. Oh, I just remembered this picker sucks. Might not go high enough. Like a glove. Seriously, like absolute perfection. Or it was, anyway. Whoopsie. If it's dumb, but it works. Might still be dumb. Ooh. That's a greasy pile. Honestly, wasn't too bad. except for this part and the rest of it. Ooh, this engine mount is very broken. All right, put some of those on the list. Oh, that was super dumb. And yes, in case you were wondering, my back hurts, but I got it to there. I think I can back the Ram truck under that now. Steady. Don't hit the picker. There you go. How many tin grills? Now, I know for a fact Jordan popped the block drains out earlier in this very video, so hopefully this doesn't make a giant mess. Oh, the oil puddle is draining, but otherwise, looks good. Stay. Man, I love the Ram truck. It's a car hauler and a giant table, all in one. Carefuling. Seriously, that engine situation is very precarious. Well, that's cool looking. It's not the best to breathe, though. Oh, I'm blind. So now I've got a blown up 360 dangling here from my main lift, right in the way of everything. And in a future Engine Wednesday video, I'll do a thorough teardown on this thing. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna find in there, but I'd hate to spoil the surprise. That is a pilot bushing. This crankshaft, or this entire engine, was previously in a stick-equipped truck. So maybe it's not original after all. Speaking of stick-equipped trucks, I think I'd like to make this one. See, it just so happens I have a rusty, smashed, blown-up small block 4-speed power wagon sitting here that needs to become not a power wagon, but a bare frame sometime in the near future. I was strongly considering selling this stick swap, but instead, I think I'm just going to use it all in the 79. We've got the right column with no shifter thingy on it, pedals obviously, and the all-important floor hump as well as the correct shifter there. This is a pretty darn clean truck, and honestly, I don't really want to rip it apart to do all of this work, but well, the engine's already blown up and removed, so what's a few more things? A 360 4-speed powered W200 power wagon kinda sounds amazing. The previous owner had a camper in the bed. I might have to do that again, if I could find a cool old school one anyway. If you know me, then you know I love these trucks, particularly the tin grill era, but even the 80s and early 90s trucks as well. I've had these trucks in like every single configuration. D100 short bed, W100 short bed, club cab long bed power wagon. I've had multiple W200s like this one. I daily drove a 78 with a big block under the hood for at least one winter. I had an 86 W150 with a 360 and a 4-speed, just like this is going to have when all is said and done. I've had multiple two-wheel drive single cab long beds, and there's even a crew cab in the mix. Not this one. Mine's a power wagon, and it's also parked in some trees. I just love these trucks, and I'm super excited to breathe some fresh life into this one. Jordan really didn't want to get rid of this truck. Unfortunately, there weren't many other great options. Hopefully he can sleep soundly at night knowing that I'll give it a good home. All right, it's cheeseburger time. We'll get back to this later. Until then, as ever, thank you very much for watching. And remember, be kind to your back. They're not making new ones.